A happy ending with a twist. Been married to my wife Jessica going on 12 years now. Always had problems, but we have worked through them. Just some backstory here from 2012. Our marriage is different. It's not open, but sometimes it seems to be open for her. She has a lot of guys chasing her. Now I have females chasing me, but I have a habit of putting the brakes on their advances. Why? Because my wife is very jealous of girls talking to me. I know it's a double standard. The only female I really talk to is Samantha, and she is gay. We are basically best friends, but she lives in Dallas. She knows I like her, but I wouldn't even think to cross the line. She is also friends with my wife. Yes, they both like each other, but they want to remain friends. It has occurred to me that being friends with her could have been a trigger that started our current problem. So here is the backstory. My wife had a 5-year affair with someone I knew. Everything you said was exactly how my wife felt. I did everything I could to understand her feeling and needs, but she was never happy. For the longest, I tried to get her to go to counseling, and when we did, she made everything my fault. She has said so many hurtful things I can't even remember all of them. Just 9 months ago, she left me for the other guy after trying to commit suicide 7 days before. I had told her I wanted divorce because she wanted a 3-way relationship. I had no choice in the matter since she was already involved with the guy. She walks out on me and my kids, and even had the guy come over to pack her stuff. Later on, I found out she had clinical depression and she thinks she has BPD. Anyway, she came back after 5 months and she started therapy. The guy she was so in love with and she thought was her soulmate didn't love her the way she loved him. She is still not happy at all, even though I bend over backwards for her. I try my best to communicate with her and she just says I don't understand. It's always something different. Last night she told me that she was physically unattractive to me and had not been for 5 years. She has also told me she didn't love me on many occasions, and last night she said she loved me but would be okay not ever sleeping with me again. Having an affair is what caused her to get to where she is at now. Even though I have done everything possible to make her happy, I feel like it's all about her and none of my feelings matter. We will be going to marriage counseling soon and she wants me to get a therapist as well. I feel exactly how you feel inside, but I still love her. I'm still attracted to her and I want to try, but I just don't know. She said last night she doesn't love the other guy, but she still needed the passionate bonding from him because she wasn't getting it from me, even though we have great bonding. So that's where we are at. In her view, we are growing apart. My view is nothing I do will ever be enough. What's so bad is our kids are noticing her being unhappy. I told her she should leave, she doesn't want to. Okay, that was a little over 2 years ago. She dropped the guy after she realized it wasn't real. Went to counseling for a year and things got better. I got counseling as well. She was happy and the depression had gotten better. A lot of our problems were physical problems, but that also seemed to improve. She got a job at Walmart and managed to become a manager. That made things even get better for a while. So, I thought things was going to be better from now on. Everyone knows most pretty girls have guys at their job that want to get with them, flirt with them, and want to sleep with them. It's the same for attractive guys. Well, several guys became interested in her. She has been working there over a year and has known from the beginning which girls liked her. She also made several female friends, so I encouraged her to be more social with them. One of the guys that was in her friends group started liking her, which she knew that he liked her. At first, she went to lunch together with her friends, but as time passed over several months, she just started going to lunch with this one guy. I gave her my trust because our therapist said to build trust up. We had to start trusting, so I did. I knew he liked her, but I trusted her not to encourage anything. I told her many times that she was in control of her own actions. Over the past 2 months, they have been going to lunch together every day that they work together, which is every day. His schedule matches hers because he is her manager. I found out December 23rd that they have been texting. Took me a while to confirm it because she deletes her messages often. I figured it out before, but I believe in trusting her. Neither one of us want to get a divorce, so I know she wants to do better. They have been alone several times on lunch because most of the time they just sit in the car and eat. I don't know much more because I haven't asked. Yeah, they probably could have already had slept together, which wouldn't surprise me. I would just like some input and advice, really. I know she is on the beginning swing of a depression cycle because I have seen it before. I am really worried she is going to cause herself some more hurt and pain if she keeps this going. I decided to seek advice after last night. She had a good time. I was not the one that caused it, but it was her texting. So that's what's going on. I guess I'm handling this better than most. I don't want to push the issue because she has been showing signs of depression. She cried all day on Christmas for no reason. Wouldn't call her dad or brother even though I offered to call and do most of the talking. No, he isn't married and I was tested for STD at my checkup in October. There does seem to be pattern. We have been together since 2003 and the first affair started in 2007. It's very hard to know if her actions are based on her mental illness or she just wants bonding. I don't know about crying over her boyfriend, but I assume it has to do with breaking contact with her mother and sister. This was the 3rd Christmas she hasn't talked to or seen them, which is a very good thing. Either way, I see what both of y'all are saying. I do believe I have enabled her to continue with her behavior with no consequences. It's really hard because I do believe she is starting to be depressed again, but having a fling with another guy isn't going to make things worse. Then again, I could just be her safety net to fall back on. I think that I come off as having low self-esteem, which is far from the truth. Outside of the problems we have, I'm a happy person. All my friends that I have and co-workers say I'm the most optimistic person they have ever met. 2 months later, well, I finally kicked her out 2 weeks ago. Now she wants to get help so she can be a better person. I told her if she told me she didn't love me one more time, I was kicking her out. She didn't last barely over a month. I am happy too. I still talk to her. She blames me, but I really didn't force her to leave. She did that on her own. She says we are separated, but I actually didn't say that or imply it. I just said she couldn't stay at our house anymore. She did the rest. So I'm going to work getting better. I'm not trying to get back with her, just staying in contact. I did get into therapy and he suggested I tell her I love her daily, just to remind her that I do. As far as her depression goes, she hasn't got help. All I can do is get myself better. I love her, but I'm not in love with her anymore, and I don't have to feel guilty for leaving. I am not responsible for her if she is depressed, suicidal, and abusive to me. It tried everything to get her help and she refused every step of the way. Situation is worse than I thought. One of the people she is staying with told me that he thinks she needs to be in a mental hospital. He is a mutual friend. I used to work with him, but anyway, she apparently couldn't stay with the other people she was staying with. He thinks that she is manipulative. I told him she is using him to have a place to stay. He already paid for her car insurance. She is using him and he isn't going to get anything out of her. It's really sad that she is doing this to another person, but that was his choice. I informed him that if you think she isn't going to screw you over, then think ago. This conversation took place when she brought him and another male friend who is married to our oldest daughter's play earlier. She didn't want to really talk to me, which didn't bother me. I had my mother and brother with me too. Since she wouldn't talk to me, I talked to him. He explained everything she had been saying about me, which neither of them believed. He knows she might try to use bonding against him. Basically, he said he is going to keep me updated on everything. He gave me his number and I think he is trying to help, but he might not be able to handle her. I told him my only concern is she call her children daily and be there for them. I know it's going to be a problem for her because she isn't trying to get help. We both agreed she is emotionally abusive. He could tell that from working with her. I also told him about her fling with their boss, which he didn't know about. It kind of made him mad because she was their boss's favorite. We both agreed she probably had him. Fortunately for me, he doesn't believe in sleeping with married or separated women. Who knows, he might be trying to get it too. Not my problem anymore, but he said he will keep me informed. The school already knew the situation and I could tell she didn't make any friends with them. They had a look of disgust on their faces. Each one of their teachers wanted to know what was up. They were not happy about her bringing 2 strange guys to her children's events. I put my kids in school counseling today too. My son's teacher said he has better telling her his mommy doesn't kick him. I was knowing my children thought this because they would tell their granny about it when I was at work. She is our babysitter. We both work nights. His grades are top-notch, but his behavior is bad. She told me he acts out in class, which I and my mother have been trying to help with at home. Allowed my children's grades are above average, but my son is the only one having problems at school. They have told me things about their mother that really gets me teared up and emotional. I do a good job of now showing them. Been a few times, but I know they notice. They are really good and I'm glad they are taking it well. Last time they didn't cope well. She also tried talking to my mothers, but that didn't work out since she was already pissed at her. She tried to act all sweet, but she looked horrible and strung out. I was embarrassed because they normally see us together and we are both dressed nice. She looked like she was on drugs and she has only been gone 2 weeks. I did talk to her last night and everything seemed okay. I thought this was going to be a peaceful separation. I was wrong. Insane people are dangerous. What's wrong with me is I am finally realizing how insane you really are, and I don't want to go along with it anymore. I'm getting my stuff. Period. I'm going to Savannah's play. Period. If I need a police escort to do these things, then so be it. That is what she said to me. I called the cops first, let them know the situation after they came over. Next thing I did was go to the school and let them know. I took them out at 1 p.m. before she got in town. Had her stuff sitting by the side of the road by 2 p.m. I only kept the clothes I bought her that she hadn't wore, which I will donate to Goodwill. I won't do that till later on though. I talked to a divorce lawyer today as well. She is going to work out our separation and start paperwork for child support after I retain her. That is going to be $200. She recommended separation over divorce because a judge can force her into therapy with me and for herself. I told her everything and she said that was best because if she can get better and go back to being a going wife, mother, then that is the way to go. She doesn't think she is serious about divorce and is just using that as a weapon to control me, as was the calling me dangerous. I told her divorce is my goal if she doesn't change. I am now willing to hope this therapy and medicine will help at this point. My children are my top concern. I'm already in therapy, so that's a plus for me. We have a truck together. It's in her name, but I put the money down. I couldn't get it financed in my name because I am a cosigner on my brother's car. At the time we needed another vehicle, so it had to be done. The lawyer said that's only of the things she will work on getting. It was bought while we are still married. We are going for a legal separation now, and me and her saying it. Well, she is because she doesn't plan on getting a lawyer, but I do. It's time to get court order help. I actually started the payment plan today for divorce. I showed him everything I have and he is going to take the case. First thing he is doing is getting her court-ordered help. May or may not comply, but that's okay. Second, he will file a restraining order against her. Third, he will file for temporary child support. Texas doesn't do legal separation. Divorce is the only way to get her help. I do believe she wants to change because she is talking regularly. However, I'm already started the process, and Martin said if she comes around then I can just marry her again if I wanted. He read all our texts since last October and he doesn't believe that divorce is really needed. His partner Dwight also agreed. I have used Dwight before, but he hardly does divorce cases anymore, and he agreed to sit in with me. He vouched for both of us and thinks it won't come to divorce, but serving her papers is going to help. So, it has been started. My wife seems to have signs of both bipolar and BPD. I would need to get to a computer to explain each one. I'm the only person she trusts, and she has told me this many times. I for the most part trust her. She has only cheated on me once, and I believe her on that. She said it was the biggest mistake of her life. I have the texts on my computer. Her mood swings start off slowly and build up, using after I tell her she has done something to hurt me. I learned long ago to let her know how I feel. She doesn't act childish, but she can be stubborn extremely bad. She doesn't necessarily push me away from her. Many times, she doesn't want me to stay up late. She will always make me come to bed. Our physical life is good when she is stable. Last time we made love was the same day I kicked her out. However, the night before she was saying hateful things, so I slept on the couch. She has called me Hitler once. That goes along with me being controlling. I'm African American, by the way, and my wife's Irish, Jewish American. That was a big one for me, and that was about 3 months ago. That's when I told her to stop saying you don't love me when you clearly are. At this point, I'm just going to go through with the divorce. She doesn't want it, but I do. She thinks we can't afford it, but I will find a way. She wants to stay married but not be married. That just tells me she is trying to secure her way back in. I think she wants to change but is afraid of it. She also didn't accept me to kick her out. She said this last Wednesday night. I will go to the community health corps tomorrow and maybe I can get back in therapy. I thought things were fixed and we weren't going to have to worry about it anymore, but I was wrong. Something is broken in me and I don't know what it is. My wife goes to lunch with a co-worker who is her boss at least once a week. They are both attracted to each other and they have been going to lunch regularly for 8 months. Around November they started talking physically to each other at work and through texts. I finally voiced my concerns and she said she would stop going to lunch with him. That didn't happen. She says they are just friends and that she isn't going to do anything. Well, if this was the first time and nothing had ever happened, then I would back off a little. However, this isn't the first time and I'm not as trusting as before. She continues to see him and believes there is nothing wrong with it. She doesn't think that it's disrespectful or anything. It's her friend and she is going to do what she wants. Those were actually wordings she has said. She guesses around at her job telling people I'm a jerk because I bring it up every week, but she leaves out that part that she wants to sleep with him. She has threatened me twice that she'd be going to do it the next time they went out if I didn't shut up and grow up. I don't know, but she has cheated before and she has walked out on our family before. I say our family because she left the kids with me and was gone until the other guy dropped her after he was done. She has been out for 30 days now. She said she is happy and healthy. Basically, she blamed me for her depression and unhappiness. She says all that went away after I kicked her out. I have been seeing a therapist and she doesn't believe anything she says and told me not to either. She was invited 3 times to join us and refused to come. She thinks that a burden of being with me has lifted and many other things I don't believe. My therapist, a new one I have been seeing for 3 weeks now, said that she would do all of this. I stopped talking to her for 9 days and out of nowhere she wanted to talk yesterday, exactly like she had predicted she would. We talked for an hour and of course I recorded it. She made it seem like she had really wanted marriage counseling to work, but I had already gone over that in depth with my therapist. She said waiting till the very end to get help wasn't going to help our marriage. A lot of our problems comes from miscommunication and still stem from that. Half a year later, my ex-wife's boyfriend has been encouraging my son to steal, telling him it's okay as long as you don't get caught, that the more he practiced the better he would get at it. This started the second time visitation started and they have only been there 7 weekends. 2 different weekends she didn't even show up. No call, text, or anything. Both times hurt my children very bad. On top of that, she barely pays children's support, which I don't depend on. Every time she comes to pick them up there is some problem. Lucky for me I don't deal with her directly, my mother does. My children have told me a lot of things about what goes on there. According to my children, she isn't allowed to call or text her children when they are with me because he is afraid she will end up talking to me. I have not had direct contact for over a year now with her. My son says he talks really bad about me and talks about beating me up, lol. That's when he told me about encouraging him to steal. He also told my son that he didn't like his mother, him, or his sisters. He then said, "If you think I'm crazy, you're wrong." That scared my son really bad. My youngest daughter is also scared of him, and he gets angry at her mother when she is talking to her daughter about me. Now, a lot of his behavior was explained to me by his ex-wife, but I wanted to get advice from other people. My lawyer is already working on getting the excluded from being around on visitation. My lawyer said we probably could have gotten that restriction before our divorce, but we didn't know his name. His ex-wife found me on Facebook right before visitation started. I believe my son because my youngest daughter told me she stole gum from the gas station while they were visiting. She told me her brother told her to do it because their mommy's boyfriend said it was okay. She is only 7. There have been other things they have told me as well. I found out as much as I could about her boyfriend, but most of it came from his ex-wives. He had 2 children he hasn't seen in over 6 years. His son from his first wife he doesn't have custody or parental rights to. His daughter from his second wife he hasn't paid child support on in 5 years. She filed on him, but he always quits or moves. There is a Facebook post about him stealing a car and a cat from a girl in California. The cat is on a picture on my oldest daughter's phone of the exact same cat. His second ex-wife has told me a ton of things about him. She does not think he is a good person or father. I don't always believe everything I hear, but 3 different women that knew him are telling me the same thing. He has been with all these women, and it's hard to believe that they are all telling a story. Both the children look exactly like him, and I don't think they are bitter. His first wife is remarried and happy as can be. His second wife has a good career in the medical field. The third girl has remarried too, so I don't see why they would be worried about talking about someone they have moved on from if they were lying. I just really want to hear other people's opinions. I have everything documented, and I talk to my children as much as possible. I spend all child support money on things they want and need, but I buy them stuff often anyway. I don't believe everything they tell me, and I talk to each of them separately. After that I talk to them together, and it helps that my mother talks to them too. When I'm talking to one, my brother is talking to another. Their stories match up together. We give them positive reinforcement and support. We tell them to do their best to be good when they are there. They call and text when they can, but they feel like they will get in trouble when they are there. They don't want to go most of the time because they don't want to be around her boyfriend. They don't believe that he wants them around their mother. He always acts mad when they want to call home, and almost every time there is an argument in the bathroom. They tried to hide it from them, but they always hear it. According to them, they think their mother thinks she made a mistake. There are tons of more things. I need some advice. The mother of my children is moving 16 hours away and wants visitation in the summer for 42 days. My lawyer said I am not responsible for getting them to her if she is moving that far away. He also wants me to push the issue with the courts to have her boyfriend removed from visitation time with her kids. I don't think that will work when she is going to be living that far away. There would be no way to enforce it, and it's not like she cares about following court orders anyway. I'm going to try to get legal aid again or save up the $1,800 to take it to court. My ex-wife is also pressuring my almost 12-year-old daughter to pick her when she turns 12 in February. Every time they talk, she and her boyfriend are trying to convince. She doesn't tell them no because she is afraid of what they will do, and she is trying to convince her to get her younger siblings to pick her too. She is really causing my oldest daughter a lot of emotional stress. Just this past weekend they had a bad argument about her moving. She didn't think it was her daughter talking and kept saying it was me. I wasn't even at home at the time or had a phone with me. It's always the same drama with her. If our daughter doesn't talk about the things she wants to, she gets angry. This is what she said to my daughter and son. "No, I will not do this with you again. This is why I changed my number the first time, and if you want to do this again, I will not hesitate to change it again. Stop now. If you want to talk about the move, then we will talk about it in person. That is all." This is what my children were talking with her about. I took out my children's names, her son's name, and her boyfriend's name for privacy. "This is your son, Mommy, and this is what Justin told me and Emily. He said that it is okay to steal and that it is easy and that if you don't get caught you're fine, and he told me to tell Emily to steal. We stole gum and candy from the gas station. He said that you can get better at it as you get older. He said you have to start off with little stuff and move to big stuff. He also said don't ever bring your backpack through the front door, to always bring it through a side door. He said when you're stealing, tries not to get caught. He said that he has stolen before and he didn't get caught. He says he doesn't care what Daddy says and he doesn't like him and he wants to hurt Daddy. He said he doesn't like when we talk to Daddy and that's why he leaves out of the room and is mad. He said that Daddy is a B word and a word for fighting for his kids and that she just gives them to your mom. He says he wants to hurt Daddy because he is an idiot and stupid. He said that Daddy is stupid for think that. He was going to stay with you. He also said he wanted to kill Daddy because he is sick and an idiot. He also said he doesn't like child 1, child 3, her new child, or you, Mommy, and he said if you think I'm stupid or dumb, I'm not, and he said if you think I'm going to stay with your mom, I'm not. He also said you were a B word. He said he doesn't like being around you, Mommy, and he didn't want a child with you. He said when you, Emily, and Savannah aren't around, that if she doesn't see that he doesn't like or love her, then she is stupid, and when he is around you, he is unhappy. He always said that kind of stuff when I was with him. This is why I didn't like being around him, because he talked bad about you and Daddy, then pretended he didn't around you. You're probably going to say everything I said to him, and he is going to be mean to me because he told me never to say anything to you or Daddy, but I did. I should have told you when it first started, but I was scared and you won't before me anyway. Now my oldest daughter had been talking to her for a week. She told her mother 3 times not to talk about her boyfriend on 3 different days. She wanted to talk about her and her brother only. Finally, says she got mad and told her mother in a rude way to stop telling her she misses her boyfriend because he doesn't miss you. Apparently, they have overheard him say a lot of bad things about their mother and me. They never told me because they don't want me to get upset. It was too late when I got home, and now my daughter won't talk to her mother anymore, and she is extremely upset. She is moving away. My oldest daughter talked to her half-sister's mother, which is the only thing that calmed her down. She has another half-brother as well by the same guy. At first, I thought that was odd, but after talking to both mothers, it didn't seem odd anymore. She refuses to believe that she had a choice to be unhappy and that I caused her depression. I told her I may have contributed to it through some of the things I said, but I never meant anything I did to be that. I was genuinely wanting to help my wife get better and be happy. I told her, you may have thought you told me what was wrong, but you didn't communicate it to where I understood it. Now she wants to have a peaceful divorce and still be friends. Exactly what my therapist said she would do, because she wants to keep me around so she can come back later. She said she is manipulative and stringing me along. She wants me to help her with money, but I told her I'm not. Every professional I talked to said if she was diagnosed with clinical depression and psychosis that it just doesn't go away because you get a divorce. I plan on detaching myself from her as much as possible. I am worried that she will want to sleep together because she says I'm her poison. I said she is my poison because I love her and I don't want her for bonding. She didn't really want to tell me how I'm her poison, but that is what I believe. She wants a civilized relationship, but I know where that leads. She wants to pretend that's not what's going on, but I know better. We will get a divorce soon and I'm happy. However, my therapist thinks that she will want to remarry me later down the road based on what she has said and done. She thinks that all this is for us as a break, and the only reason we are getting a divorce is because I wanted one. It's very complicated, but I believe I can make it through this without falling into another trap. She hasn't come out and said anything about bonding, but I have no idea what she will do once she changes her mind. I think the least amount of contact is best. Update. Okay, I'm getting divorced from my ex-wife, and I have posted on here about her before. I took my new therapist advice I got back in September. It didn't work. We are still married and she is pregnant. I know 90% I'm not the father because I left at least 40 days before she could have gotten pregnant, but she missed her period in that time too. I left May 9, 2015, and her baby was due in May. Now it's March or April. I'm not worried about it being mine, but I was concerned about Texas law. My lawyer is working on it, but so far, I haven't heard anything from him since telling him 3 weeks ago. Also, I found out she isn't working, so what children's support I am getting is coming from her boyfriend. I just found that out a few days ago. One of my biggest concerns is she is saying I'm influencing our children against her. I am walking on eggshells every day. My oldest daughter gets very upset when I ask her to call or text her. She really only talks to them at visitation, which is only 4 hours a month split into 2 series. I have done everything I can for them to talk to her, but all she does is ignore them. I even bought them their own phone just to call and text their mother. She still claims I'm coaching them. She went too far as to claim I was harassing her by pretending to be our children. I had already talked with my lawyer about this very issue months before and filed. Well, my lawyer says nothing has happened yet, but I tend to believe her when she makes threats like that. I really want them to have a relationship with her, but she just ignores them. It's been like that for 7 months, right around the time she got pregnant. She blames me for everything. She was a support manager at a retail store. Now she is back to being a cashier, and she isn't working much. She never really could work when she was pregnant, but had always had a good job. Now she isn't working and her boyfriend has to pay all her bills. I don't feel sorry for him at all. My primary concern is that they have a good relationship with their mother. She has a lot of problems. Many of you know she has clinical depression and she hasn't been on medicine since 2013. She claims she is happy and healthy. I do my best not to talk bad about their mother. I tell them I still love her, but we can't be together. They get upset with me the same as they do when she says it. Okay, enough of the update. I already posted on another forum with what's going on. Is there a peaceful solution to this? December 6, 2015 should have been our divorce date. As time goes on, I think it's less likely to happen since we can't agree on anything. She wants 3 days a week. I want standard visitation, 2 weekends a month, etc. I would let her see them more, but that is what I think we should start with. My family and her family agree, but I guess they have too because she doesn't talk to any of her family at all. Her own mother is urging for no visitation until she can show better behavior. Although I'm the only one that was happy about her pregnancy, they don't think she should have any more children, but it's done can't be undone. Here is the post I wrote a few days ago. My ex-wife, who I was married to for 12 years, is probably. I just found out 2 Saturdays ago, she told my kids at visitation. We have 3 children, 11, 9, and 6. I was happy she was pregnant and I called to tell her. She yelled at me and said it's none of my business. That didn't bother me since she has been hostile since we broke up. I have never had a problem with her boyfriend even though she got with him 2 weeks after we separated. We are still married and going through a rough divorce. I have temporarily full custody and she has supervised visitation. So, she got pregnant after 3 months of being with this guy and I just found out 6 months later. Unfortunately, my kids have been caught in the middle. My children and I have asked her many times to just call or text them. Instead, she ignores their texts claiming it's me. Even though my oldest is very smart, she doesn't believe she is capable of texting. So, I asked my lawyer to send a formal letter to her lawyer to ask can she please call her children. That was in November and she hasn't called, not even on Thanksgiving or Christmas. My children think she is replacing them and they also think she is replacing me. They understand why I left her, they just don't understand why she pushed me to that point. They have been through her leaving twice before and they are really upset about it. This has been the longest she has been gone. Back in December she told them she wasn't ready to be a mother and 2 weeks ago she tells them she's pregnant. My oldest keeps saying how can she be ready now when she just told us she wasn't ready to be a mother. It hurts them really bad and they are upset with me for being happy about it. They feel their new brother is going to get more love than them. It's tough to deal with, but I don't have a choice. I have them in therapy separately and we go as a family twice a month. They have heard her say all kinds of bad things about me and it makes them not want to go to visit her. She does nothing for them because they are with me before the court order. I did everything I could to get her to see them on her off days, but she always had her boyfriend there. She doesn't call them or text them at all. At the time I didn't think she should be pushing someone she hardly knows on our kids, and especially if he hasn't seen his 2 children in 6 years. I didn't think he was a good father, but I don't know him. Seems like a nice guy to me. We have not gotten into any problems or talked to each other in over 9 months. My problem is not with him but her. This isn't the first time she has had an affair, but this is the first time I have left her on my own. I figured she would get pregnant sooner or later even though she claims she couldn't have children. She even wants me out of our children's lives for good. She has a lot of anger and hate towards me and I believe she withholds love from our children because they are with me. I tell them constantly their mother loves them, but no matter what I say they want to see it in her actions. Although she will tell me she doesn't love me, but the few times my children were there with her and her boyfriend they overheard her tell him she still loved me. She just needed to get me back for making her hurt so bad. I understand that, but I left because she was hurting me. She started dating her boyfriend 9 days after she left. I kicked her out. I know it was wrong, but she was cheating. Claims she just met him, but I didn't bother arguing that with her. Now she's pregnant and still angry as the day she left. I have tried being the nice guy and I have been willing to let her see her children anytime she wants, but after 4 attempts at finalizing our divorce it keeps postponed. My kids tell me he wants to talk to me and he has called once. I don't feel the need to talk to him because it's not my business. I may still love her, but I don't have to be with her to love her. That ship has sailed, but my kids keep pushing for me not to give up. I would like for my children to have a better relationship with their mother, but she won't unless she has them. Everything points to as long as you have them, I won't talk to them or call them. I don't even know how to handle this. Other than visitation, they have basically 4 hours a month with her, and so far, every visit hurts them more and more. The way she acts and everything. My oldest daughter even said while they were playing Scrabble, she gave her only letters that were in her boyfriend's name. The other letters she put back because she said, "Oops, I saw that one." Everyone, including her mother and father, all side with me. They both call me regularly, but she hasn't called them in over a year. I guess I'm just wanting to know, is there a peaceful solution? I really want them to know their brother, but I don't think she is going to allow that unless she gets full custody. I can't do, because if I do then I get no visitation. She has denied everything I have asked for. Joint custody isn't an option because any control she gets she will abuse. My own lawyer said she was controlling and manipulative. I also hoping for full custody and I will give her visitation whenever she wants. I am going to leave child support ruling up to the courts. I just don't think she will agree to anything I ask. My children have a father and they don't need a new one. I am okay with them having a stepdad because eventually they will have a stepmom, but I don't think she is right trying to push me out. They have been with me since she left and I have taken good care of them. I have always been like that. I think I spoil them too much, but they are happy. Their only problem is they want their mother to come home. They believe in that deeply, even though I tell them not to get their hopes up. Even after all she has done, they still believe she loves me. I can't say I understand why they believe that or if she is coming home. I can't give them that, but I can give them all the love I can. Weeks later, I will do my best to cut her out of our lives. I'm waiting in the parking lot right now while they are at supervised visitation. Today she said she wasn't going to be here, but I always show up just in case. She does everything she can to trick me into missing visitation. I got an email from the director over a month ago telling me not to come to visitation until March 6th. That is a Sunday and visitation is always on Saturdays. Luckily, I didn't believe her and I have been showing up every time. She is already accusing me of keeping them from her almost a year, and she is accusing me of screwing her over every chance I get. I expect that from her, and my lawyer knows that isn't the situation. I give him weekly updates and sometimes daily updates. He has all my texts with her going back to 2014. He knows how she is and I'm sure her lawyer has told her we need to settle this. I realize she is going to do everything and anything to get her way. It's going to be a long road, but I'm not giving up on my children. Half a year later, I had a problem in the spine with pulmonary embolism. I almost didn't make it after the saddle pulmonary embolism, a blood clot in the main blood vessels in both lungs. Supposedly it's really rare and that's why I got misdiagnosed 3 times. I have had 3 surgeries so far. I can't walk right now, but I have limited movement in my legs. It's been really tough and I was in the hospital over 2.5 months. It was really hard being away from my kids because it was flu season and they wouldn't let them visit. I might be able to walk again, but it's not guaranteed to happen. I did want to let everyone know that some kind of way my ex-wife found out I was in the hospital. From what I was told, she called multiple times. At first, she was really nice, but then she got very rude. I had her on the give no information list just in case. The only thing I can think she found out was from the MRI tech at the first hospital I was at. She used to know my ex-wife, but I don't know how she would have told her since they hadn't talked in 10 years. Only my family knew and I didn't tell her family anything. I didn't post on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I figure the only reason she didn't go to the hospital is because it was in Dallas, and they said if she did, they would call the police. She called many times for several days. What I found upsetting was during all this she didn't once try calling our kids. To me that was more important than worrying about me. I really don't care about her talking to me, but they needed her, especially when they thought I wasn't going to make it. I was in intensive care for a week after the PE. Now I'm taking 12 different medicines throughout the day. It made me really sad that my children had to go through that, and my youngest daughter was really scared and she wanted her mother. 2 years later, OP reflects on himself. I was with my ex-wife 12 years and enabling her to cheat. We are both attractive people, so that wasn't the problem. We had bonding problems, but that was because she wanted power over me. Overall, I look back and see we had an okay physical life. The day before I kicked her out, we had some amazing bonding. So, I don't think that is why we divorced. She had clinical depression problems and anxiety disorder too. For years she wouldn't go to therapy even though I begged her. In fact, I did everything I could to meet her needs. I literally bent over to meet her needs constantly. I was always concerned with what she wanted. I constantly told her she was beautiful and that she meant the world to me. We always did things together. Yet somehow, I wasn't doing what I needed. Somehow, I missed something. She would always say I could write a book about all the problems. Looking back, I see that I spoiled her. I bought her clothes regularly, lingerie, I took pictures of her often, and I put her on a pedestal. I paid special attention to her emotional needs. I was always doing things to make her feel better. I told her I loved her multiple times a day. If she didn't want to have full bonding, I would please her and not get anything from her. She was my honey bun and I was her Reese's Pieces. We told each other we loved each other often. Even after we separated and she had a boyfriend. I sure thought she loved me. Yeah, she had cycles she would go through with things got bad. I thought it was the depression. It seemed like it, and I posted about it to get help. The best advice I got was to divorce. I allowed her to have 2 affairs with the same guy twice. It didn't stop till he dumped her for good. I tried for many years to get counseling, not only for her but for me and us together. We only went to a marriage therapist once. We had meetings with a preacher before we got married. I was reluctant to marry because she had cheated before. We both cheated, and I admit I cheated trying to get her back, but that all happened the first year we met and we were young. I grew out of it and I figured she would too, and I was wrong. My kids still hold out hope she will come home, and I try very hard not to crush that. I explain to them that it probably won't happen, but I don't know the future. They get mad at me if I say never because their mother says it, then they say only God knows the future, which they are right. They say they see things in her that makes them have hope. I don't see it happening. I'm single by choice because if I do get married again, I don't want to make the same mistakes. I still say she is a good person because she was for many years. She just has a problem making the wrong choices in life. She has had a rough time since I kicked her out, but it's not like we have had it easy either. She hasn't seen her children much in the last year, and 6 months she has been gone. She lost her truck last year, which I paid for with my down payment money. She got bumped down from being a manager and recently lost her job. She quit. Her boyfriend lost his job, he got fired, and they lost their apartment. He isn't that great anyway from what his ex tells me. They both are behind on child support and now live further away. She can't see her children when she wants to and doesn't call or text them. Believe me, the line is open, but no one is trying to reach them. They don't call her because we only have his number and they know she had a phone. He doesn't want her talking to her children when they are not there, and he doesn't want her talking to me for co-parenting. Also, don't be her friend. My ex tried to goat me into that. She wanted me, her and her boyfriend to sit down and talk. Been there, done that, and it's garbage. It's just a way to put the OM in your face. My toughest problem has been dealing with the emotional damage to my children. I try to be the best dad I can be to them. We saw this coming a few months before because she has left before, and that ended badly. I shouldn't have taken her back then because she hadn't changed. She got back in because I was her friend, and that was the thing to be at the time. Every single time she cheated, it was my fault in some way or form. even though I did everything I possibly could to meet her needs. I do say I'm responsible for my own part because no divorce is one-sided. I am to blame for my part. She didn't respect me because she got no negative consequences for cheating so many times. I blamed it on her depression and enabled her to get bolder and bolder. She made it my fault because I wasn't fighting hard enough and at the same time forcing my hands to be tied. Love was thrown in my face, losing my children was thrown in my face, and finally she claimed my love was so-called love and I didn't really love her. That was what pushed me over the edge now that I think about it. So, I left and didn't look back. My comment: tell me what you think about this Friday story. Did you like this long one? Let me sort out some housework and I'll be back with another one.